All right, I have 6:31. I'll call this meeting to order for the Columbus Common Council regular meeting for Tuesday, August 21st, 2018. Whenever you're ready, could you please take a roll call, Megan?
Clark?
Here.
Hendrickson? Absent. Millar?
Here.
Reed?
Here.
Tylen?
Here.
Tome?
Here.
Traxler?
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. If able, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, this meeting has been noticed in accordance with state statutes and local ordinances. Next item is to approve the agenda. Unless there's any alterations or deletions, I'll take a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda as presented. Any discussion on that motion? If none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Agenda is approved. Number 5 is correspondence and communication. As you can see in the memo in our packet, the minutes have been moved under correspondence and communications for this meeting. That might change in the future, I guess, to committee of the whole or something like that, but this is kind of a transition for this evening. Any questions on that? All right. If none, we'll move on to unfinished business, which is to consider and take further action on operators' licenses, or the operator's license for Jessica McNichol. If you recall, we had a special hearing for the appeal of that license. Apparently, there was a noticing issue with that, so we're just bringing it back here to take action on it once again at this meeting. Any questions on that? Trina?
Oh, for corrections, I had voted no. I think it said it was unanimous in the packet.
On the minutes, or what were you referring to?
On the minutes, yes, on number 8, motion carried by unanimous.
And I can make that amendment too. I kind of threw that together for this packet, but as you know, it's not in there for the minutes aren't in there for approval, but I can make note of that.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
All right. So we would need a motion to confirm all action taken at the August 1st, 2018 special meeting. Paul, is that correct?
Actually, I don't think I would word it exactly that way. I think you have two choices tonight. The first choice is to take the more formal approach and have another hearing and do this all over again. Assuming you don't want to do that, and assuming that that's would be kind of a waste of everybody's time at this point. I think your option, if you're comfortable with the end result that you reached at last time, is to do something similar to where a prosecutor just declines to continue prosecuting a matter because it's not worth anybody's time anymore. So I think your motion would be to decline further prosecution of Ms. McNichol's appeal and to confirm the granting of her license. And then that puts a full circle on the issue.
Any further questions from the council? Anyone care to form that into a motion?
Decline further prosecution of Ms. McNichol's appeal and confirm the granting of her license.
I'll make a motion to decline further action. Wait, was that further action? Further prosecution on Ms. McNichol's appeal and approve, what was the rest?
Grant.
Approve the granting of her license.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on that? Okay. If none, could we please take a roll call, Megan?
Clark?
Aye.
Reed?
Aye.
Tylen?
Aye.
Traxler?
Aye.
Millar?
Aye.
The motion passes.
Thank you. On to new business number 1 then. Consider a mayoral appointment of Alderperson Clark to the Community Development Authority. This is just housekeeping. That vacancy was created when Alder Matt Kenny resigned and he was serving on the CDA, so Alder Clark will be taking over that assignment. Any questions on that? If none, I'll entertain a motion to approve that appointment.
So moved.
I'll second.
A motion and a second to approve the appointment of Alderperson Clark to the CDA. Any discussion on that? If none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Congratulations, Alder Clark. Number 2 is mayoral appointment of Edward Johnson to the Zoning Board of Appeals. There was a recent vacancy there due to a resignation, and Mr. Johnson reached out to me, interested in serving, and so I brought this forward for appointment. Any questions on that? If none, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to appoint Edward Johnson to the Zoning Board of Appeals.
Motion and a second to appoint Edward Johnson to the Zoning Board of Appeals. Any discussion on that? If none, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Thank you. And thank you, Edward. Number 3, consider and take action on the alcohol beverage license application revising premises received from Dubs Brew LLC, doing business as Cersei's Brewing Company, to include a sidewalk area. This is an item that we have discussed for several meetings. We took a field trip at the last meeting to go out there. We have some updated information in our packet this evening, along with an updated sidewalk encroachment application, from my understanding. And I'm assuming that this is the drawing that will go with that encroachment?
Yep.
Okay.
You had everything in the packet except for the actual application that
Okay.
was delivered just later that day.
Okay, and that was left in our seats. Any questions on this? Seems that all the measurements are included on this updated version here, with the red highlighting the measurement from the front of the building to the curb, which I believe was what we were requesting at the last meeting. Seems pretty clear. Attorney Johnson, did you have any concerns? Is everything laid out correctly?
I have no concerns with the application itself. The only thing that I'll point out, more for somebody to remember when June rolls around next year, because I probably will forget, is that the alcohol license is good to June 30th, but the permit that they're requesting is till September 30th of next year. So when this rolls around next year, we'll just need to make sure to take this into consideration again.
I was going to ask that question, actually. Could we grant can you grant the encroachment to expire at the same time as the license, so you can deal with both at the same time, or not?
You could do it that way if you wished, but you can have this encroachment without having the alcohol license, so it kind of stands by itself. I think it's more important to just for the applicant to remember to make sure that they include this map with their application for next year.
Okay.
And then I think it'll come together.
Okay, thank you. Megan?
I would just say too, at the bottom of the application, it says the permit shall expire 1 year from the date of approval. So you may just want to specify that if it's going outside of that.
Different date altogether.
Yeah, right.
I think the expiration date of this approval is not the big deal. It's just making sure that we remember to pull it all together when next year rolls around.
Okay.
Otherwise, I had no concerns.
Any further questions from the council on this? If none, I'll entertain any action from the council.
I'll make a motion to approve the amendment to the liquor license issued to Dubs Brew as presented.
Second.
A motion in 2 seconds to approve the alcohol license application revised premises received from Dubs Brew LLC, doing business as Cersei's Brewing Company. Any further discussion on that? If none, could we please take a roll call?
Reed,
Aye.
Tylen,
Aye.
Trexler,
Aye.
Millar,
Aye.
Clark.
Aye.
The motion passes.
Thank you. Number 4, consider and take action on the field use application of the Columbus Area Youth Soccer Organization for fall soccer for 2018. This did go through the Committee of the Whole for discussion. It seems that everything required per the application is present in the packet, along with the insurance and the 501c3 designation. Any questions on this? I had one for you, Paul. Under the IRS letter, it shows that there's a Form 990-PF required. Is that basically them acknowledging that they have to have an annual, is that significant to us at all?
No.
Okay.
Not you. That 990 form is a notice and basically a short form tax return for a nonprofit organization.
Okay, all right, thank you. Unless there's any additional questions, I'll entertain any motions from the council.
I'll make a motion to approve the field use application of the Columbus Area Youth Soccer Organization for fall 2018.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the field use agreement for CASO organization for fall of 2018. Any questions on that? If none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes, thank you. Number 5 then, consider and take action on an agreement with NASCO for water quality trading phosphorus. Dave Arnott was here at the last meeting explaining these credit trades to us. Any additional questions on this? I see none. Patrick, do you know if this, this is part of a, I believe, already an approved task order with Rupert Melke for this process?
The work is part of the phosphorus silo, so to speak, with the task order.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Thank you. Unless there's any additional questions, I'll entertain any motions from the council.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the agreement with NASCO for water quality trading phosphorus. Any further discussion on that? If none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Number 6 is very similar. This was covered at the last meeting as well with Dave Arnott from Rupert Melke. Consider and take action on plan to work on phosphorus water quality trading with property owners adjacent to the Crawfish River and tributaries. I believe this is also part of that active task order. Any questions on that? One question I have, the funding source for doing that work, has that been identified, or is that another step?
That we don't know exactly what funding is involved until we engage the property owners.
Okay.
I think just what we're thinking is the revenue we're getting from the NASCO can be applied to whatever we need to take care of this other side of the phosphorus. But there's more information coming, so.
This is identifying the opportunities and the people
Yeah,
they can work with.
for us to engage the property owners.
Okay. Any additional questions? If none, I'll entertain any motion from the council.
I'll make a motion to approve to work on the phosphorus water quality trading with property owners adjacent to the Crawfish River and tributaries.
Have a motion and a second to proceed with work on the phosphorus water quality trading with property owners adjacent to the Crawfish River and tributaries. Any discussion on that motion? If none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Number 7, consider and take action on an MOU related to the locating of the Eastern Columbia County Joint Municipal Court to the City of Columbus. I believe that was left at our seats this evening. Does everybody have a copy of that?
In my packet.
Oh, maybe it's just mine
Yeah.
for signature. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, I just saw the sign here. So this is essentially the city's attempt to bring this in front of the court committee once again for review to see if we can possibly come to an agreement to relocate the court back to the city of Columbus next year.
Yes, the issues addressed in the agreement addressed the issues raised by the committee at the last meeting.
Okay.
Yep.
Andy?
My only question on this was, I want to just understand that, just to make sure that if the city's needs change or the court's needs change in the next 10 years, there is an opportunity to opt out, but both sides have to agree to that, according to number 10 on page 2. What if both sides don't agree? Is there other options in this contract to make that happen?
Not as currently drafted. In a situation like this, well, I drafted it for mutual termination just to give the court the idea that you're not going to pull the rug out from under them after a certain period of time, because I think that's one of their concerns that they have. When you have a contract or an agreement like this, you basically have two ways to do it. One is a mutual termination, and the second is either party can terminate it upon 15, 30, 60 days, 90 days notice. If you do that, then you're giving each side an out, and that would be fine with me as well. I just started with this way. So it's up to you as how you want to do it.
Mayor Tone?
Yes, go ahead.
I just had a thought, and I'm going to turn to Paul. The bylaws of the joint committee allow a participating municipality to pull out essentially of the agreement. How would this supersede that? Or could we put something in there that would say the bylaws supersede this agreement? So then we would still then have that opportunity to pull out per the current bylaws?
This particular paragraph can be worded any way you wish. So I took a shot at the initial language, and depending on how, it really comes down to how locked in do you want to be. I mean, that's, it would be kind of ironic if the court was held here and you pulled out of the court. That would be almost funny, but almost. But you could add some language that says, this remains in the, this 10 years is a long time. So I don't know how you want to lock yourself in, and I don't know what they're going to require you to lock yourself into. I mean, that's kind of the game right now.
This is an MOU. I guess what I'm trying to get a better grasp on is that if we are bringing this in front of the court committee to see if they're amenable to these terms to possibly move here, is there another step involved, or could we have another contract after this to refine these?
Actually, I would consider the document in front of you to be the final document. I discussed with Patrick whether we wanted to do a bullet point approach to flesh out the terms, or if we wanted to just put something down in final form to try to get this cemented in as fast as possible, and we chose the second route.
Okay. Then I think Patrick's question is very relevant as far as the bylaws or the ordinance as it stands. Would that supersede this contract?
I think that answer would be no.
It would not.
Not without a little bit of tweaking.
The council concerned with locking ourselves in for 10 years on these terms, or do you think we need to add?
Well, it would be real simple to add a clause to that paragraph 10 that says, the agreement remains in full force and effect as long as Columbus is a member of the joint municipal court. That would be perhaps your other way to give yourself an out.
That makes sense, because I guess if the court's here, we would want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Does that cover it?
Yeah. I don't foresee this being an issue, but 10 years is a really long time,
Well, the entire court may disband in 10 years, and
Right.
you don't know.
Yeah, a lot can change. Needs of the court and the city could change in a 10-year time, so I would I would like to see that language added.
Well, would you prefer to have either party has an out? Because if the needs of the court change and you say no, that's not gonna make much sense either. So maybe you would be better off to have either party having an out with 90-day notice or something like that.
6-month notice?
Oh, and in reality, it would be closer to that anyway for the court to plan where it's going next and for the city to plan what it was gonna do next. It would be at least a 6-month process.
Mayor. Mayor Tom?
Sorry, Patrick, go ahead.
Just, yeah, the bylaws currently say that any community can opt out if they give notice prior to August 31st of each year.
Correct.
Opt out at the end of the calendar year.
Right, for, yeah,
So that's 4 months' notice.
right, correct.
I liked it how you worded it originally, where as long as the courts, as long as we're a member of the joint municipal court and it's here. However you worded that. I like that better.
Do you, and without the, either party having the right to
That's
terminate?
yeah, that's my opinion.
How's the rest of the council feel about that?
I agree with you.
Okay. Trina?
Oh, I definitely like that route. I wouldn't be surprised if they got back to us that they needed something on their own term, but I like offering that.
Start there.
Tasha?
I tend to agree with what Trina's saying. I think we can compliment with that option too, they're probably thinking the same thing, we both need that option.
All right, so we have consensus then to edit item number 10. Paul, could you read that?
It's going to say, this agreement shall remain in full force and effect as long as Columbus is a member of the joint municipal court or unless terminated upon mutual agreement of the parties.
Is everyone fine with that? Okay. Thank you, Paul. Unless there's anything else, I'll entertain any motion from the council.
Motion to approve as amended.
Second?
Thank you. We have motion and a second to approve the MOU related to the locating of the Eastern Columbia County Joint Municipal Court to the City of Columbus as amended. Any further discussion on that? If none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Number 8, consider and take action on status of in-street bike lanes in the design of the DOT Highway 89 project. This was discussed at the last committee of the whole. Unfortunately, not great news for the city of Columbus that the bike lanes will not be included in these DOT projects in the future, and it looked like there was a cost of about $116,000 that could possibly come along with the addition of bike lanes, along with some state laws that may prevent us from getting the right-of-way acquisition for those bike lanes. So it seemed like we had consensus at the last meeting to not include the bike lanes in the design of that project. Unless there's any questions or any comments on that, or I'll entertain any motions.
Motion to approve without the bike lanes.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to take action on the DOT highway project without the in-street bike lanes. Is that correct? Okay. Any discussion on that? If none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Number 9, consider and take action to approve the placement of a Children at Play sign on River Road. This came through the committee of the whole at the last meeting. There was some discussion about traffic and children on River Road, and there was some consensus to add some signs. Since then, it looks like there were some updates provided in the packet here with some photos. There currently are signs, Children at Play signs, but they are older, 18 by 12 signs, Davis Clark said that he would recommend replacing the signs with newer reflective signs that are pictured in the packet here. The cost of those signs would be $57 each. I believe it was 2 signs that we were going to have them facing both ways. Is that correct?
Yeah.
On one side. Any questions on that, Andy?
Yeah, my question would be, there's children at play signs on both sides of the street. Do we have the ability to change the one on the other side of the street? Or do we need to contact Elba and see if they would change? Just for updating, it'd be, I don't know how that works. Like, it looks like they're the same sign, so
Yeah.
did we put that up to begin with?
I didn't get that information from Davis, so I don't know. I know the question was raised, though.
Just swapping out the signs on the existing posts?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's,
Seems to make sense if it's possible.
right, yeah, that's, I guess that's the question. And, I mean, I guess we could order 2 signs either way, right? And I would, as far as the 2 signs that are there, I mean, either one of those is fine with me. I don't really have a preference.
Okay. Any further questions? If none, I'll entertain any action from the council.
I'll make a motion to approve the placement of children at play signs on River Road.
I'll second.
Motion and a second to approve the placement of 2 new children at play signs on River Road. Any further discussion on that? If none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Number 10, consider and take possible action on the placement of a crosswalk on Avalon Road. This was brought to the Committee of the Whole. There has been quite a bit of updated information in the packet for this meeting, including the letter from the Columbia County Sheriff's Office, several maps with the location, and a memo kind of outlining the updates from the last meeting. I think it'd be best if I just kind of turned it over to you, Patrick, to kind of frame it for the council, if there's any questions.
Sure. To fill in some of the updates here, following some conversations with the school district, the recommendation per the study from the Columbia County Sheriff's Deputy Sergeant Horn was to look at some areas in the city for crosswalks for safety purposes, and the more critical area in particular was Avalon Road. And since the conversations with the school district, what I had said to the council is we needed to have a look at this a little bit more closely. I've talked with Davis Clark. I met on site with Jason Letha to look it over, and Jason was in agreement that to put the crosswalks in wouldn't be too difficult to do, would make sense in terms of safety. In your packet, there's a map of 2 proposed areas. According to Sergeant Horn, I understand it's important to at least put one in before the school year starts. And so we've identified a couple of areas, the one across at Ridgeview Lane to Avalon Park, and the other on Summit Court across Avalon Road. So it's really comes down to a safety concern raised by someone who's looked at this closely. We've determined about what the cost was. We believe that the major cost is to put the ADA ramps in, which would involve cutting out and adding concrete, which is something our crew can do, and believe that the cost would fall in probably the $750 range.
cost would cover both of the crosswalks?
Just for one.
Okay.
Yep.
And would that cost include any paint, signage?
The signage, in conversations with the school district, they are amenable to funding the cost of that.
Okay. Andy, you done? All right. There's been a lot of new information since the last meeting, so I think it's very clear now as to the reasons why this needs to be done. Generally, I'm just in favor of pedestrian safety, regardless of where it is in the city or for what reason. So I'm in favor of this. If there's questions from the council, there's people here, or representatives from the school district that can answer questions. Kasha, did you have a question?
I just have some questions, and I had sent an email to you along with what those concerns were. I guess my biggest question is the impact of us making this approval. How are we negatively impacting any of the rest of the people in that area who would potentially use the buses? Is this the spot in which they are then able to be charged to ride the bus, as opposed to be provided the bus riding without that?
I can't answer that question, Kash. That's a school matter.
I see
so-
some people
yeah,
present
so
that could
perhaps they
potentially
can-
answer that. Is
I-
that a question that I can propose to them, or?
I think if they're here and ready to answer. I don't have information as to the plans of the school with busing, so.
Okay. I guess I just would like to know the answer to that question if I can, so is that?
I would rather keep the discussion focused on the question that's come to the council, which is the crosswalks. It seems like you want to discuss busing issues, and regardless of how kids get to school, this is increasing safety for kids that walk to school. That's the way I look at it. It's an, increase in safety for pedestrians, regardless whether they're students or whether it's during the school year or outside of the school year. And I think that's the way the question has been brought to the council. So I'd kind of like to focus on that rather than getting into the weeds over school busing policy. Does that make sense?
It makes sense, but it doesn't really answer my question. So, I mean, I understand that, I too want it to be safe for people who are walking, and I think that in essence, eventually more of the kids are just going to end up needing to walk then rather than bus. So I guess that was just my question.
Any further questions from the council on this? If none, Trina, did you have a question?
No, I guess I'm leaning towards having the 2 crosswalks. It looks like a pretty long block, and since we're looking at installing a walk for safety, I feel like it'll be more likely used, or they'll be used if there's 2 of them on both sides.
So you would be in favor of doing both Summit and Ridgeview?
Yeah.
Okay. Jason?
I just had the question, I see that it's on that side of Summit. I know the hill is pretty steep there. Did you guys get line of sight in there too with the signs and stuff?
And I don't know if Jason's nodding or anything behind me, but we walked that area, and I think it looked like it was pretty close, but
Because it's right at the crest of the hill where that is.
yeah, on the side closest to 89, the receiving ramp would allow us to put it right in a terrace, whereas if you were on the other side of it, you'd be going into a person's driveway apron. So
Okay.
I think that's the issue there. I think in terms of visibility, I didn't think there was, Jason, do you
Jason,
want-
please. Yeah.
Yeah, Jason. When we were out there, we took a quick look at that, and the actual crest is a little bit further than Summit as you're coming up the hill. And we did kind of look at the sight distance lines through that section, and there's plenty of sight distance here for stopping at that speed. I would ration to say you could see several hundred feet. Now, I know speeds might be a little higher than the posted speed limit, obviously. We know people do that. But, I felt it was definitely safe here, and Patrick was right. We looked at that crosswalk at both locations, and it seemed to make sense that the locations that we have on the map made the most sense because we had one side of the intersection where we had that driveway, so it made sense to put the crosswalk on the other side at Summit. And then further up at Ridgeview, there's already a ramp there on the park side, if you're all familiar with that, but that's further down from the intersection, and I don't know the history behind that, but my guess would be that that ramp was put in that people that had disabilities could park on the street there and get into the park. So it wasn't intended to be a crosswalk. So we looked at actually lining the ramp up with the Ridgeview intersection, but also leaving that ramp there as well, just for accessibility to the park. So there would be kind of two ramps on that side, but what we'd do is, I think you had mentioned, Andy, about painting. We'd actually stripe that crosswalk. Because right now, there's no sidewalks from 73 all the way down to about midpoint at Avalon. And then there's actually a ramp that crosses there where the sidewalks start. And that was just kind of to circulate the end of the walk path. So if you walked up one side and you got to the end, you could cross the street and come back down the other side. So there really is only truly that one crossing all the way on Avalon, and that's kind of right in the middle. So by adding these other additional crosswalks, you would get that crosswalk at both intersections. So.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I agree with Trina. I think we should tackle both of these crosswalks as soon as possible. You know, partnering with the school district in any way we can, and if they're gonna do the signage, even better. So I'm in favor of this.
I am too, as a walker in that neighborhood. As a walker in that neighborhood, yes, I would like a crosswalk so I could get over to the park. Would be nice. Not that they stop automatically, but something else.
Patrick?
I just had this on just
Okay.
to be ready for any questions, so.
I guess my last question would be, I would tend to want to do both of these as well while we're up there. Since it hasn't been budgeted, have you been able to identify a possible funding source for that?
The Public Works Department has a painting and striping line item that I think it's as defined as it possibly can for the plan to what they need to paint for the year. But things happen, you don't know how much budget, but there's looked to be enough room there to take care of this.
Okay.
May cause the line item to go over by the end of the year, but at least we'll know by our conversation and the project here, the reason why.
Okay,
So,
thank you. Do we have consensus that we would do both? Seeing nodding heads, are we okay with both? All right, unless there's any further discussion or questions, I'll entertain a motion to approve the placement of 2 crosswalks on Avalon Road at Summit Court and Ridgeview Lane.
So moved. Well, second.
I don't know if that was 2 firsts or, okay. Did you get that, Megan? Okay. All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the placement of 2 crosswalks on Avalon Road at Ridgeview Lane and Summit Court. Any further discussion on that? If none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Number 11, set trick or treat date and hours for 2018. There's a memo in the packet. It looks like, as it stands right now, it would be October 27th, Saturday, from 5 until 8 p.m. Any discussion from the council on this? I believe that we need to set a date to get this into the Columbus Commotion, so people are aware of when trick-or-treating happens. Andy?
I am in favor of this date.
Because of your birthday, right?
Well, my birthday's on Halloween, so ideally, I would like to have it on that day, but, yeah, I think we should move forward. I think the Saturday night dates have been working out well. You know, Amy Jo's been doing a really good job at putting those parties together, and I'd like to continue that.
Right. Any further discussions or conversation? If none, I'll entertain a motion to place trick-or-treating hours 2018 for October 27th from 5 until 8 p.m.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion on that? If none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Number 12, consider recommendation from the Plan Commission and approve the extraterritorial review for the certified survey map for parcel number 014-1013-0711-004. I did not attend the last Plan Commission meeting. Matt Schreiber is here. If there's any questions, or if you just want to give a recap on this, this is kind of an oddball item, I guess. It's the, yep, there you go.
Sorry. So under our, well, actually under state statute, we are required an 1.5 mile review of any lane division within the city limits. And per 90 section 42 of our code, I think it's 42, but it says that we will review all the plats obviously within the city, but then we have enforced the extraterritorial review. So this is a review for a CSM that will subdivide one lot into 2 lots out in the town of Elba. It is on the corner of Behan Road and 73. It's where there's currently storage units there. So it's from what we learned at the Plan Commission that this is where the Lamers is going to have their site, will be out there. So.
Any questions for Matt while he's up here? Thanks, Matt. Unless there's any further questions or discussion, I'll entertain a motion to take the recommendation of the Plan Commission and approve the extraterritorial review.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second to approve the extraterritorial review for the certified survey map for parcel number 014-1013-0711-004. Any further discussion on that? If none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Number 13, consider and take action on applications for operators licenses. Let's see. I have one name in my packet for Monica Shizzle. Is that correct, Megan? No further? Okay. Any discussion on this? If none, I'll entertain any motions.
I'll make a motion to approve the new operator license for period July 1st, 2018 to June 30th, 2020 for Monica Shizzle.
I'll second.
Motion a second to approve the operator's license for the term stated by Alder Traxler. Any discussion on that? If none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Operator's license is approved. Thank you. Number 14, consider and take action on claims in the amount of $592,670.33. Any questions on the claims packet? If none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the claims.
Motion to approve claims in the amount of $592,670.33.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the claims in the amount stated. Any discussion on that? If none, can we have a roll call, please, Megan?
Tylen?
Aye.
Traxler?
Aye.
Millar?
Aye.
Clark?
Aye.
Reed?
Aye.
The motion passes.
Thank you. On to report of city officers. Patrick, I'll let you jump in first.
Want to report out the, I think, a bit of pride, I guess is a better word to say, for our community. When Megan and her team reported a 31% turnout for the primary last week. That's very good for a fall primary by comparison in past similar elections. So it just confirmed what we already know, that the community is very active and participates in the voting process. So that's great news. Just a quick update on our projects. The 16 and 60 project at 151 is still on track. They're expected to be finished at the end of August. Our city project is ongoing. The rain didn't help things, but they are moving to road building after the utilities are completed. We'll be talking a little bit more about that at the committee of the whole. Just want to mention, while we got our share of rain and the river rose quite a bit last night, and our creeks I guess we were lucky compared to some other communities. We've certainly had our experience with that, but kind of feel for our communities in Madison and west areas west with what they're dealing with. So not really a report, just kind of a, kind of know what you feel like when you got to deal with that. So I'm hoping that they get their situation cleared up quickly. So in the regular agenda here, there was the approval for the plan to deal with the water quality trading with area property owners. So with that approval, we'll be working with Dave and getting a meeting set up, tentatively scheduled for September 12th, to introduce the idea of water quality training and conservation practices, much like what Dave was talking about at the last committee of the whole. So more information will be coming out on that. And then just finally, I want to just make mention about our clerk's departure, Megan Meyer. It's sad to me, sad to a number of people I know within the city organization. I just appreciated Megan's professional attitude and the way that she brought new ideas to the table. Even in the short time we're going to be able to use some of the things that she's brought forward to improve our organization. So thank you, Megan. And thank you, Mayor.
Thanks, Patrick. I can scratch the 31% turnout, get that covered. Okay. Very proud of that as well. I did want to mention the fourth and final summer concert for the summer concert series in Fireman's Park, sponsored by HLPC, will be this Thursday, August 23rd from 6 until 8 p.m. Everyone's invited to bring lawn chairs, blankets, beverages, picnic supper while enjoying the evening's live music. I believe this week's band is the Driftless Bluegrass Band. These live concerts are free for the community, and donations to continue the restoration and improvements to the Fireman's Park Pavilion are encouraged. I also wanted to recognize the efforts of Acting Police Chief Dennis Weiner, PD staff, fire department staff for the National Night Out event held at Fireman's Park on August 7th. I was able to attend, and I spoke with Dennis while I was there. It was very well attended this year, likely the best turnout ever for National Night Out in Columbus. I believe Dennis said they went through about 600 brats about halfway through the event. He also expressed that there was overwhelming support this year with sponsorships and donations from local businesses to help add some new elements to this year's event. So thanks to Dennis and everyone that helped out with that event this year. And then lastly, I'll reiterate some of what Patrick said about the resignation of Clerk Megan Meyer. Although Megan's time has been short here, I wanted to thank her for all she has contributed to the city through her work while serving as our city clerk. I've received a lot of positive feedback from city staff, contracted services, elected officials, as well as residents regarding Megan's desire to assist them through a permit process or simply seeking information. Megan's efforts to bring forth ideas to help refine processes and procedures has not gone unnoticed, whether it's chicken permitting, alcohol licensing, or allowing election inspectors the flexibility of working shorter shifts. Megan brought with her a very high level of personal expectations, performance, and professionalism. Those traits will serve her well wherever her professional career takes her. It's been a pleasure working with you, Megan, and I wish you the very best. Thank you. Unless there's anything else up here, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? We'll stand adjourned for a few minutes and return.